Welcome home, baby. Kick off your shoes. Let me turn the lights down low and wash away your blues. Rest your head and let's get lazy. Let's take it slow. Welcome home, welcome home, welcome home.
There's no love sincerer than the love of food. Eating well has become more desirable than ever before. Hello and welcome to Luxury Time. I'm Lisa Mangaldas, and on the show today, I bring you some of India's most decadent gastronomic experiences. I'm at the Spice Route at the Imperial New Delhi, a restaurant whose sumptuous menu and elaborate decor mirrors the journey of the spices from the Malabar coast in Kerala through South and Southeast Asia. It is truly a feast for the senses. Designed by Rajiv Sethi, India's most celebrated connoisseur of culture, the Spice Route is an architectural marvel. Built over 7 years, every inch of the space is hand-painted with vegetable and flower dyes. By special mural painters brought from a temple in Guruvayur in Kerala, with a tradition dating back to 3,000 years.
We have a very eminent team of restoration artists that fly down every year in October from Paris, France, and they have the precise engineering to take care of all of these beautiful murals. In our restaurant, we have perhaps the highest sense of ostentatiousness displayed in the wealth section of the restaurant. And this section of the restaurant is literally made of gold. Bespoke from top to bottom, the entire space is handcrafted in 24-karat gilded gold. I'm in conversation with Vijay Vanchu, Senior Executive Vice President and GM at the Imperial New Delhi, and I'm looking forward to hearing from him about the vision behind the Spice Route. Thank you so much for having us here, Vijay. We're seated in this beautiful courtyard in the center of the restaurant that brings together the architectural sensibilities of Thailand and Kerala, a combination that's reflected in the menu as well. And I'm curious to hear from you about the genesis of that menu.
Well, you're right. It's a marriage of Kerala and Thailand, in terms of the decor as well as the cuisine that we are serving here. As far as the menu is concerned, it was very difficult initially for me. A lot of people confuse between Thai and Chinese. And it took me about 6 months to sit with my team to put this together. And every dish was tested and checked many, many times before we finalized it.
That I have to say that the food here is only one piece of the puzzle, albeit a very vital piece, because you're just overwhelmed by the beauty of the decor, the architecture, the art here. It's like a museum.
You see a lot of paintings in the restaurant which are done with vegetable dyes, which have actually been done in the restaurant. They have not been printed anywhere. They've been painted by the Kerala artists in this restaurant. And the other aspect of it is the Thai architecture. I remember traveling to Chiang Mai with the designer Rajiv Sethi. I have actually picked them up from Chiang Mai and transported them here and got them put up by the artists.
And I'm curious to hear from you, who all have dined here? What are the sort of special occasions that you might have prepared a meal for?
Well, the first memory I have is of a very, very big star, Titanic, Kate Winslet. Among the stars, I also remember the Big B, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan here in '98. Besides that, these days we have John Abraham, Akshay Kumar, Saif Ali Khan, Sharmila Tagore, Shabana Azmi, to name a few. And they will go to no other restaurant. They would always like to come to the Spice Route.
Well, Thai cuisine happens to be one of my personal favorites, so I'm looking forward to trying it all.
Well, I sincerely hope you're going to enjoy this.
While Thai food has become extremely popular, few restaurants achieve the level of authenticity that you taste in the food at Spice Route. Whether it's the green curry or the papaya salad, both of which are Thai classics, here the flavors are just intoxicating. Chef Veena Arora grew up in Thailand, so she's been enchanted by the nuances of Thai food since her childhood.
So when I make the menu, like whatever has been the selling item and what you can say signature dishes, they are still there from day one till date. And I'm very proud to say that also, yeah.
She was recognized for her decades-long contribution to India's culinary landscape as the country's best female chef, with an award presented by Pratibha Patil, then the President of India.
And now living in India for so many years, so yes, definitely getting an award from the President of India means a lot. So it's very heartwarming, yeah.
What's really fantastic about a lot of Asian cooking, and especially Thai food, okay? I mean, Thai food just screams freshness of ingredients. I mean, I think that's what really makes Thai food beautiful. It's bright, it's you know, all these really intense flavors of, you know, you've got kaffir lime, and you've got galangal, and you've got you know, all that. It's just, these are just bright flavors, okay, and very, very distinct. And I think the beauty of really good Thai food is in its absolute freshness, okay, and the way it all comes together in your mouth.
We're now going to take a short break, but we visit a restaurant that's South Mumbai's hot favorite on the other side. The Table, a much-loved restaurant in South Mumbai's trendy Colaba area, has been widely acclaimed as among India's best fine dining venues. Its slick yet warm interiors and trendy, relaxed vibe create the perfect ambience, both for a fabulous night out or a languid Sunday brunch. And the menu, with its clever San Francisco-style cuisine, follows suit. At the Table, every item on the menu is innovative and delicious. And because they have their own farm, the produce they use is organic and quite literally farm fresh. And I'm about to be in conversation with the owners, Jay Yusuf and Gauri Devidayal, about their inspiration behind the restaurant and their journey so far. Jay, Gauri, thanks so much for having me over here.
Thank you.
Now, every time I come to the Table, I get the sense that California's culinary culture had this love child in South Mumbai. I know you've spent a lot of time in San Francisco, but tell me about the inspiration behind this venture.
Well, I always was a foodie and loved food too much, I guess. I was so floored with Californian cuisine, the freshness, the ingredient-driven food. I thought Bombay should have something like that.
Did you both see an opportunity in India that had been untapped, and perhaps a greater receptiveness to find food and just food becoming this really hot topic. I mean, what do you think the reason for that is? I mean, in the last decade or so, food has just become such a big thing here.
So I think the food scene in general is becoming so popular. And every time the food was like this big celebrity chefs and this big thing. Now the whole scene is going to finding that little tiny spaces, the chef-driven, the ingredient-driven. That's today's scene. I think is exactly that same thing is happening in India.
With all the small plates on the menu and also the interiors suggests that sharing is central to the table experience. And I'm curious to hear why you chose the name that you did.
You know, my one contribution to the restaurant while it was being designed and sort of done up was the community table. I had come across this, you know, in a cafe in London, and I was, you know, I loved the vibe that it sort of created, and I was just like, do whatever you want here, but make sure there's space for a community table.
The community table is one of my favorite parts of the restaurant to be seated at, so I couldn't agree more.
Well, please come and join us there, and I think Chef Alex has some dishes whipped up for you.
Chef Alex Sanchez worked in several Michelin-starred California restaurants, including Manresa and the French Laundry. Before setting off to Mumbai to work his magic at the table.
Alex, it's great to be here.
Thanks for having me.
So have you enjoyed your time cooking in India?
Yeah, I mean, it's been full of challenges for sure. And I think there's sort of never a dull moment, which makes it exciting for me.
So what's on the menu tonight?
So we've done a couple sort of favorites. So we have first the chicken wings. Like, they've been on since day one, and if I was to ever take them off, people would kill me. It's chicken wings, which have been confit slowly in chicken fat. We remove the bone, and then we cut them into cubes and fry them. And we serve them with a very sort of Chinese-inspired ginger soy glaze. And it's just like sweet, sour, salty, and chickeny, and it's delicious.
Reminiscent of like Cantonese pork belly, in a way,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's and then we have our tuna tataki. So it's tuna, which is glazed with this vinaigrette with sherry vinegar and soy and sesame oil. Really kind of, again, you know, sour, salty. I'm really all about this like sour, salty balance. So that's like, I love those flavors. And then we have some crispy, spicy wonton chips and some radish, and then the avocado underneath. So again, few ingredients, but they all kind of work together in a nice way. And then this dish is one of our newer ones, which is becoming, you know, one of our more appreciated dishes. And this is a nice vegetarian option because everybody loves avocado, but you know, as of this dish, or whenever this was created, the only avocado dish that we had was for non-vegetarians. So now we have this dish which really plays off the fattiness of the avocado and cuts through that with pink grapefruit. So grapefruit, avocado, great combination. And then we finish it with a light salad of shaved fennel and red onion. And then what's kind of cool is the vinaigrette is made from vanilla beans from Kerala and grapefruit juice. So it's like kind of a cool new dish there, which is great for vegetarians.
I have such a sweet tooth, but I want to hear from you what you think makes the perfect dessert.
You know, a great dessert has to have that contrast, something crispy, something creamy or soft, something that feels sort of silky, you know, that, again, like luxury, right? So like silky smooth is always kind of, I associate that with luxury. And then I think dessert has to have ice cream. And so what I'd love for you to try is our chocolate budino, which has that wonderful silky texture. It's like a very creamy pudding with chocolate. So everyone loves chocolate. We put a little sea salt in it, so that's salty, bitter, sweet. And then it's topped with a walnut and cocoa crumble, so that gives you the crispy element. And then that is topped with Earl Grey ice cream. So that Earl Grey is a little bit different, so it's not just vanilla, you know, it gives a little twist, but it works really nicely with the chocolate and the walnuts.
Perhaps an appreciation for these ingredients needs to be cultivated. It's maybe not one that's just intuitive. Do you think that's the case with these high luxury ingredients?
Yeah, well, one of the chefs that I think a lot of younger guys like me probably take inspiration from is Ferran Adria. And yes, he's known for introducing molecular gastronomy pretty much to the world, but I think more importantly, he was kind of the first chef to say, what is a luxury ingredient? And why can't, you know, a pear be just as luxurious as foie gras or as caviar or truffles? As a chef, through technique, through, you know, using the proper cooking methods or cutting something the right way or pairing it with the right ingredient, you can take anything and make it delicious.
The deconstructed chicken wings were crispy and succulent at the same time. The rare tuna tasted as beautiful as it looked, decorated with translucent slices of pink radish. And the grapefruit and avocado salad was a supreme combination of tastes, colors, and textures. Time now for a quick break, but on the other side, we experience the most luxurious vegetarian restaurant in the country. I'm at ITC Grand Chola in Chennai, where I'm about to dine at Royal Vega, a restaurant that showcases some of the most exquisite vegetarian cuisines from across India. From infusing jasmine in the water that they boil the rice with, to using only the finest locally sourced spices, the chef's secrets ensure a tantalizing menu that changes with the seasons. And I'm about to hear from the chef himself about just what makes dining at the Royal Vega such a special experience. Namaste. At Royal Vega, the philosophy of vegetarianism takes on a high luxury avatar. The restaurant is divided into 4 quadrants that provide a variety of dining experiences, each a revelation in courtly finery. The Rajdhiraj Takht recreates the glory of a king's banquet. The Rajvansh Chowki recalls the intimacy of family dining. The Rajrani Room simulates the royal retreat for the women of the court, and the Nivas evokes the tradition of the table where key members of the court dined together.
You know, we are blessed in this country that we have such a great tradition, or so many traditions of vegetarian cooking here, that it's just impossible for, I think, people in the West or you know, to try and compete.
At Royal Vega, recipes derive from the kitchens of royalty. In accordance with ancient Ayurvedic dietary prescriptions, Chef Varun Mohan's kitchen is staffed only by vegetarians. There is a purity about the food that shines through in the authenticity of the cooking techniques, the freshness and seasonality of the ingredients, and the ethos of the service.
I think this is a great initiative by ITC Hotels, and this is really the first vegetarian restaurant in the luxury space, to say. And the food there is something which is really from the royal kitchens of India. This is not just an ordinary vegetarian restaurant. We have a full research and development team which probably researched for about 4 to 5 years. Chef Manjeet Singh Gill, who's our senior corporate chef, he's the one who, and Chef Varun, they travel to various parts of the country to pick out the most beautiful elements of vegetarian food, and really from the royal kitchens.
I'm going to hear from the chef himself about what makes the Royal Vega such a luxurious experience. Chef Varun Mohan, thanks so much for having me here.
The pleasure is all mine.
I think people often underestimate just how luxurious a vegetarian meal can be. And I know that Royal Vega sources some of the finest ingredients from all over the country. whether it's morels or saffron. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, when we started Royal Vega, we did a big research in terms of the ingredients, because we believe in vegetarian cooking, the ingredients is the thing which matters a lot. You must have heard about Gucci. We use morels in most of our cooking, which is one of the luxurious item available in India. And let me tell you one more thing, in vegetarian cooking, the vegetables what you're using should have a different character. But over here, each individual of my dish is cooked individually, which has its own character, because every dish goes with a different spice and every spice has a different taste.
That all sounds so elaborate and so delicious, and my mouth is beginning to water already. I can hardly wait to dig in.
Today we have prepared a special meal for you, which is Ranjit Khasa.
Now this sabzi has asparagus from the Himalayas, morels from Kashmir, silver leaf, blanched almonds, juicy raisins. It's just one of the most exotic dishes I've ever tasted. This angar curry, an unleavened bread, is made by pinching the dough 101 times. So while I savor it, you can go into the kitchen and check out just how it's made. The rice is so fragrant that it doesn't even need an accompaniment. And it's the finest long grain basmati from Dehradun. And while it is just wonderful on its own, I'm tempted to try the dal with it. The dal is so rich, it's just delectable. At Royal Vega, one is clearly never enough. So they've brought me two desserts, the Chandragupt Malpua and Kheer Sagar, both of which look absolutely delicious. It's soaked in syrup and full of nuts. It's so rich and so sinful, but so yummy. I have such a sweet tooth, and right now, I'm on cloud 9.
Next week on Luxury Time, join us as we bring you some of India's most exquisite jewelry brands.